Good morning and Happy New Year to all of you who are listening on today, for God has granted us a new year in 2026. My prayer is that you enter into this year with a new train of thought, new mind, new heart, and living in God's ordinances. I want to share a quick word of thought with you from Ephesians chapter 4 and beginning at verse 17 through 24. Paul the apostle writes to the church at Ephesus, "This I say therefore and testify in the Lord, that you henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind, having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of God through the ignorance that is in them, because of blindness of their heart. Who being past feeling have given themselves even unto lasciviousness, to work all uncleanness with greediness. But ye have not so learned Christ, if so that you have heard him and have been taught by him, as the truth is in Jesus, that you put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that you put on the new man, which after God is created in righteousness and true holiness." I want to share this quick little thought this morning with this subject, living in the new. Living in the new. Paul tells the church at Ephesus, he says that now that you are in Christ, and now that you have been changed, don't do as those of the former who used to do, but live in the new. How does that happen? By the changing of your mind. If your mind is renewed and your mind is not focused on that which was, then you can live in the new. And living in the new with God means that God changes us. We don't change God. And if God has changed us, then we walk as we are new people in God. We ought to walk with the purpose in a changed mind, knowing and believing that it's God that has changed us. Paul tells the church at Ephesus, he says that having the understanding darkened, they were alienated, those of the former Gentiles, from the life of God through ignorance. Ignorance can be corrected by education. Ignorance can be removed by educating yourself to the things that surround you. What's around us? Our environment. There's spiritual, there's physical. And if we are ignorant to the spiritual realm, then we will live in ignorance to the spiritual realm. But if we are educated only to the physical, which needs to also have the spiritual, then we will lose out, because the spiritual has to control the physical. If all you have is physical and no spiritual, then there is no life there. So Paul was saying that I testify that they walked in the vanity of their minds, of not knowing through ignorance. And when we can walk and live in the knowledge of Christ, we are no longer like that our former life. The former life that we had dealt with corruption and all kinds of greediness, uncleanliness. It dealt with that. So Paul said in verse 21, he said, "If so be that you have heard him and have been taught by him." What he's saying is, if you have not learned Christ, how can you talk about hearing him, and how can you talk about being taught by him if you don't know him? For those of us who do know him, we live as he wants us to live. Those of us who know him, we talk like we know him. We act like we know him. So instead of making this resolution of making something we're going to do that we're going to soon break, why not just get to know who Christ is? Get to know him. Walk in the newness of God. Live in the newness of God. And your conversation will change because you have been changed in God. Walk with a purpose in 2026. Live with a purpose in 2026. Act like you are of royalty in Christ in 2026. So my short message to you is this: live in the new, and the new is Christ.